What does it feel like to wake up one day and realize you've done everything you were supposed to do and you're still unhappy? You climbed the ladder, you got married, you built a family. From the outside, it looks right. But inside, something is wrong, not just emotionally wrong, physically wrong. Your body starts rebelling and you don't know why. Today's guest knows that feeling intimately and she found a way out. Today, I'm sitting down with Karina, who writes under the pen name KK Biernath. Karina is a Polish-born author, poet, and speaker whose work focuses on vulnerability, courage, and the inner landscapes of women's life. She recently published her first book, a memoir called Karina, One Woman's Journey from Fear to Freedom, a book she wrote as a letter to her children to show them that anything is possible. But the path to that book was long. Karina moved to the United States in 1999 looking for happiness. She climbed the corporate ladder, got married, built a family. She did everything right. Yet inside, she was lost. She was pleasing everyone around her while denying her own needs, and eventually, her body began to rebel. After a decade in the care of physicians, she was ready for a new direction. Working with a holistic doctor, she came to transformational belief. If your thoughts can make you sick, your thoughts can make you well. By the end of this episode, you won't just understand this quote, you will understand what it means to stop living for others, to listen to what your body is telling you, and to become the person you were always meant to be. Welcome to Relatable Wisdom, Karina.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Karina, your quote is about the power of thoughts to make us sick or well. But before you understood that, you were living a life that looked right from the outside. You moved from Poland to the US, climbed the corporate ladder, got married, built a family. Walk me into that version of you. What was she chasing? What was she ignoring?
Oh, I was ignoring myself. I was denying myself the needs. I was forgetting about me. Seems like when I was by myself, I was good, but in any time I was getting into a relationship, trying to build a family, having children, somehow consciously I was being put always on the back burner. And then after a few decades, it started to show in my body physically because, the body can take so much.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. You said you were pleasing the people around you, but denying your own needs. Where did
Mm-hmm.
where did that
Absolutely.
pattern come from? Like, was there any a voice in your head, maybe from childhood, from culture, from family, that told you your needs were less important than others?
Number one, I was always being, told, I am strong, I can handle everything. And then by the time I was 16, 17, I became really perfectionistic. I wanted to be liked and loved by everybody, own needs, and actually developed eating disorder because at least I could control that. I couldn't control what others think of me,
Yeah.
what circumstance around me, but I developed that. And also, I think hoping that it's gonna give you more likeness, that people gonna like me more.
Yeah.
And so I think it comes from a childhood upbringing. There is a pressure for, I think, everywhere worldwide, to be good girl, to do what the parents say. I am good example. I have a 16-year-old and she is wonderful, but she gives me such a hard time. And I always tell her, I am so happy you are rebelling against me now at age 16, despite it hurts, because I was doing it in my 40s. I mean, seriously, because I just thought my mom was this and that, and I didn't think I should. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did answer my question perfectly. Thank you, Karina. Um, your body began to rebel. That's different. When I see it, it's like was like your mind was in one place and then your body was just doing its own thing. What did that feel like? Were there specific symptoms, specific moments when you realized this wasn't just regular stress? This was your body screaming for attention.
I was lucky enough that I grew up around people who were into culture, spirituality, and I always believed that there's a connection between body and mind, emotions, how we feel. So basically how we feel is going to somehow affect how our body is feeling. But I didn't know much about it until my early 40s. And what started to happen? Basically, I got sick, pneumonia, anemia, then Lyme disease, and then also, IBS symptoms, all the other stuff. So I knew something was off, and I knew that the stress of my life, of being a mother, of being a full-time employee, career woman, but I'm sure it took a toll. And also, I had to mention that during that time when I was so focused on the family and career, The books which I love were just collecting dust. Yoga mat was just standing in a corner. I hardly did anything. And I know by now that it's very good to me, very good for me. I enjoy both of the things. They bring me joy to life. They make me happy. They lift me up. They also re-energize me. And so basically, really what everybody seems that I just told you about. And it was coming gradually. But, if it like within 5 years, it came up to a lot of things. And I'm like,
Yeah.
something has to stop. And I
Yeah.
was at the edge. I'm like, something has to change.
Yeah. So there were like gradual signs, and then eventually you got to a point and you're like, oh yeah,
Correct.
where you start paying attention, and like, oh yeah, I think I can't ignore this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah. After a decade in the care of physicians, you were ready for a new direction. You started working with a holistic doctor and you came to this transformational belief. My thoughts could make me sick. My thoughts could make me well. Was that an instant click, eureka moment, or did it take time to truly believe it?
And not really. So I have a very good friend, Monica, Moni, I call her, and she for decades was, introducing me like, Karina, watch this, Karina, listen to that. You need to read this book. So I was slowly introduced to all these great, oh my God, different type of healing, different people. And, I lost my thought. But the first thing I started to notice when I was going for my transformation was my thoughts, how I was thinking. And I always thought I was a positive person, smile on my face. And I believe that in order for me to be happy, I have to always be this smiley person. But once I start to realize what I'm thinking, I'm like, my thoughts were horrible, especially towards myself.
Oh,
And then my holistic doctor, she introduced me to the Dr. John Dispenza. And I think basically the quote I gave you maybe are not exactly his words, but basically he believes your life starts in your thoughts. What you think, this is how your life is gonna look like. So is it his quote? I'm not sure. I have to be honest. But if your thoughts can make you sick, it can also make you well. And I truly believe it. It actually started, I think it took me about 2 years
yeah.
to really understand and believe it. Why? I started my meditation 2022.
Yeah.
I was deep into my transformation starting 2021, but really 2024 when my life started to look different way. When I went back to yoga, I went to Poland and all the other stuff. And I knew it was thanks to the changes I made internally because I started to believe, basically synchronicity started to happen because I started to change the way I think. So this is when I really started to believe in that.
Wow.
So it starts all here.
Wow. Wow. I'm just why you no, like I'm taking some time for it to like to process what you just said so far. Wow. I'm glad you're really, really honest about it, right? It was gradual, and then
Hmm.
eventually, you're like, now you believe it. If my thoughts can make me sick, they can also make me well. You
Yeah,
you do have you realize you're the creator of quotes, the creator of like your thoughts can make you well in a way. Yeah,
absolutely.
and that's a powerful and scary realization. Because if you're the
I,
creator, you can't blame anyone else.
you cannot blame anybody. Before you ask me a like example of, if the thoughts can make you feel, they can make you well.
Yeah,
So back in 2022, 2021, got really bad eczema, really bad. I mean, I should share a picture maybe one day with
yeah,
somebody, but my hands were wounds and I refused to go to the doctor. I just spoke with my holistic doctor. I changed the diet. I started drinking herbs and I believed that I can heal myself. And I did. And it took me 5 months, about 5 months. And then also I understood why it's happening, what emotions are encouraging this eczema to return. So whenever it starts to happen, I'm like, I feel these little bumps on my hand. I'm like, I know this is because of that. So that's why I also believe in that because I healed myself from eczema. I didn't see any dermatologist and I had it on and off for like about 4 years.
wow.
So
Yeah,
power to
in
thoughts.
my head, I'm just trying to process the overtime the thought factory would have been working, because right now there was you had eczema and you knew that it was the thoughts that brought it, and so you had to think thoughts to make you well too. I'm curious, wasn't the pressure too much?
The hardest part when I was going through healing myself for this eczema situation was actually to stay strong willed and not to give in to others saying, like my husband, go to see dermatologist, somebody else, why don't you see dermatologist? I'm like, I don't want it. Let me test myself. Let me try if it works. And it did. So the pressure from outside and, and the strong will to have to stay, to believe. And even till today, we all have our own beliefs, but very often my beliefs don't align with those around me. So they call me a certain way, they tell me my beliefs are wrong, and I'm like, they're good for me. And it's very hard because of the pressure from the outside to stay connected and strong-willed in your belief, to not to go the other way. It's very hard.
Yeah. Wow. The reason I keep saying why is the the response you gave was exactly the next question I was about to ask you. And in a way, that's lovely because I was about to ask you what was the first thing you consciously created after that shift? What was the first small change you made on with that understanding that you could think yourself, your thoughts could make you well because they could also make you sick, and you went ahead and you gave me that example. Thank you, Karina.
Good.
Yeah,
We think alike.
everything alike. Yeah. You started writing as a form of healing. A letter to your children that became a memoir. That's the book, Karina. um, what was it about writing that allowed you to assess parts of yourselves that maybe therapy or medicine couldn't reach?
Uh, First of all, the idea to write a book started, I got the idea back August 2021.
Mm.
I didn't sit down to write it, was January 2023. It can already tell you how long of a process for me it was internally
Yeah.
to get the courage and energy to sit down and write. So I was in a process of therapy, which I needed over a year to actually believe that I can do it, to understand why I need it. And by the time I was able to sit down, I also understood why I am the way I am, what happened in my life, how it impacted me. Just writing itself was a healing journey. I remember very often, especially when I was writing in my cafe in Milford, in the town close by I love to be to. I mean, many times I would just write something and just close my eyes and start crying, and I would let myself cry. And I'm like, what's happening? But I know I needed it. It was something which I internally didn't digest yet, didn't work through yet. And, and also the book was almost done back March, was supposed to be released in March 2025 instead of October. But again, something did happen, which I said, no, stop. I needed to do more healing. So, and also funny, I'm translating the book into Polish language. I'm native to Poland.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit scared. I didn't want to translate. I wanted to hire somebody. And my mom is like, what do you mean? You have to write it. You know how to write in Polish. I'm like,
Yeah.
but I think subconsciously I knew that it's going to be another therapy session for me. Also, I knew that the book would change because I have changed. I am not the same person I was even a year ago. And I know that especially the outer reflections I have in the book, they're gonna be different in this Polish version because I am different. How is the ending going to be? I'm not 100% sure because there's so much wisdom, so many reflections coming into my head every day, and I just want to put it there. So it's a transformation. I think also the book opened for me the door into reflections. I love to reflect. Good stuff, bad stuff, why did I feel this way? Why did I say that? Why did I react this way? Okay, this event went this way. What can I do better the next time? And I am not scared of reflections anymore. I don't see myself as a failure when something doesn't go my way. I'm thinking about what did I do and how can I make it better next time? Was there and what can I learn from that experience with the children, like with events, even with hosts? Like on the beginning, I was very nervous about doing the podcast because I don't know what to expect. By now, I know I love it, and I know I stopped being afraid. But I'm like, so I was thinking, should I do anything different? But the podcast naturally, they just have the natural flow. So I stopped being worried. But on the beginning, I was like, what should I do better? Different next time, even like a background, today I changed my
Yeah, it looks
settings. I'm
lovely,
like,
by
is
the
it
way.
good or bad? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So the book started the healing journey, opened me to reflections, and also opened me to like more learning, being more open and stop being afraid, opened me to freedom. It's like just the, subtitle of the book says, the fear
Yeah.
from fear to freedom.
Wow. Getting there. I'm glad you mentioned that. Your book is called Karina, Woman's Journey from Fear to Freedom. I've been looking at the title over from
Yeah.
from here. Okay, right now she's showing us a copy of the book for those that are listening. Okay, well that's a picture of you on the cover.
This is actually illustration.
Yeah,
So I've been a couple of times to the local readers and writers festival, and cartoonists who did all the drawings. I loved it because I'm like, I don't want my face to be on a cover, but in the form of drawing, I love it.
yeah.
I
Well,
love it.
well, your book is called Karina, a one woman's journey from fear to freedom. My question is freedom a destination or is it something you have to keep choosing every day? In other words, do you still have moments of fear? Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
There are two questions. Which one would you like me to answer first? Answers for both of them.
Okay, I'm glad you're able to keep
Freedom or
track.
free?
Okay, the first one is is freedom a destination or is it something you have to keep choosing every day?
For me, it's a feeling. It's a feeling I have inside. So funny. It's not a destination. It's
Okay.
a feeling for me. To somebody else asked me that question, which actually, by hearing that question the first time, I realized for me, it's a feeling. Freedom is being able to say what I want, being able to do what I want, being able to write, being able to be me and not being afraid to be me. And I think the most important job I did, I actually allow myself to be free, give myself the freedom to be me. So this is freedom for me, to enjoy the life I want and enjoy the life I was meant to have.
Yeah.
And the freedom part, the fear part, I feel the fear every day, and I do what I have to do anyhow. And there was a beautiful book. I forget I don't know, but I forgot the author, but the title was "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway," and it just stuck with me because this is what I'm doing. But by now, comparing to even 6 years ago, back then I didn't understand it was a fear, and I was afraid of my fear. By now, I accepted the fear. I know it's there. I feel it in my body, the anxiousness, but I do it anyway because I know certain things bring me joy. And also, I accepted that the fear is just normal human emotions. We all have, some of us less and more. And I know it's going to go away the moment I, let's say, go on a Zoom link to speak to great host, right?
Yeah.
And speak about my journey, for example. Yeah, it's there. It will always be there. But the biggest change I have made, I realized when it's happening and I accepted it. I welcome it. Bring it on. Be my friend. Join my journey of life.
Wow. This is such a lovely conversation. Wow.
I agree.
Yeah, it's such a lovely conversation. I love the fact that you said feel the fear and do it anyway. The problem isn't the fact that we're afraid or we're scared. The problem is that our fear and our scariness stops us from doing the thing. I think there's a skit, not I won't call it a skit, more like a video, an actual video that was filmed of a child, right? And the child was attacked by a chicken, like a brooding chicken, a new mother hen. I don't know if they protect their chicks. A very young small child. It was attacked, and you know what the child did? The child was crying. The child was scared, but the child held like he held the the mother chicken. He held it, and the mother chicken was, doing the thing, and the child was crying, and the child was shouting.
So he faced his
Like
fear,
he held,
despite
like,
being
so
effort.
instead of when the chick was trying to attack him, when the hen was trying to attack him, he grabbed the hen, held the hen, and did not let go. And the hen was trying to, like, move and move, and the child was crying and shouting, and I was confused. And every time I think of feel the fear and do it anyway, is instead that is what I think of.
I mean, it's a great example. Let's say he was
That
screaming, he
child was
was,
scared to
he
death.
was crying. It means he was scared to death, but he grabbed it and he held onto it. I
Yeah,
have another beautiful quote, which this actually comes from Yoga Wisdom. I just finished yoga teacher training a year ago,
yeah.
and
Congratulations.
I fell in love with. Thank you. And I started teaching locally as well, just once a week, but it's enough. And my Bible, I call it, when it comes to yoga teaching, it's one of the books called Yamas in Yamas, so one of the limbs of yoga. And there was a quote, when it comes to discipline, tapas, stay in the fire and wait for the blessing. And it can relate to the physical fire, meaning, you're working out, it's really hard, but it's good for you. Can be different, can be that you're having a problem, but maybe your life is in a shamble and you're confused. Let yourself be in this confusion. Give yourself permission and patiently wait for the blessing to see what's going to bring. So this is another beautiful quote I also like, but it comes from Yoga Wisdom. So,
Yeah, thank you for
and
sharing it.
also it's kind of another way. It's another way of facing the fear. You staying in the fire, despite the fear, too,
Yeah,
and you just wait what's gonna happen.
yeah. You mentioned fire. That reminds me of the Winston Churchill quote that if you're going through hell, keep going. Right? You're not supposed to stop in hell. You have to keep going until you come out of the other side. And so, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're going through it. It's not like that's your destination. Like you're just passing through, right? So you have to keep going. You talk about unbecoming, right? The process of letting go of who you thought you had to be. What was the hardest
Yes.
thing to unbecome for you?
I think each time somebody asks me the question, I think of something less. Unbecoming, I became somebody else when I came to America.
Okay.
I had never dreamt to come to this country, but once I made a decision, I want to come here to build a life. I had the goals, car first, then my place to
The
live, then
American dream.
family, career. And I got it, not to this extent, but
Yeah.
I got it, I got the car, I got the apartment, then a different one, then a husband and a child, or child and a husband. And it took me 2 decades, and I realized I don't want it. My dream is to have a teeny tiny house, maybe even apartment. I want to live in the country. I don't need thousands of friends. I don't need the makeup on my face. I don't need this trendy hairdo. I like my just hair long with a braid or loose, and this corporate clothing was nice when it was nice, but I don't want it. And so for me, unbecoming is to going back to my roots, going back to who I was born, who I was, and then I lost myself at some point in my teenage years.
Yeah.
So it's my unbecoming, coming back to my own roots, to my own self.
Still on the unbecoming subject. You speak four languages: Polish, German, Spanish, English. Do you find that different parts of you come out in different languages? Is there a version of Karina that only exists in Polish or another that only exists in English?
Wow, it's a good.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a very good question.
Thank you.
You made me think. I think I may having different tone of voice depends on the language. One thing I learned, because my first language was Polish, then German really fluent. So when I came to America, I actually spoke perfect German, but no English. And one of my friends, actually, we spoke over here in German because I'm like, she could speak German. 10 years later, when I had to record something in German for my work, I actually had an American accent in German, which was so funny. I
Wow.
had American accent in German. So I don't know how to answer your question, but you definitely made me think. I don't think so. When it comes to languages, I can tell you that I enjoy speaking any language. And I have a joke saying that if somebody would pay me to learn languages for living, oh my God, the best job ever, because I enjoy being able. So I went to Italy a few times, and before that, I studied. I want to learn some phrases, so I at least can say good morning, how are you, what's your name? My name is Karina. I enjoy it that much. On my bucket list, going to Italy for 3 months to immerse myself in a language to learn Italian. I I I think when you speak even few words, maybe if Nigerian, when I tell you something in your language, then it connects us, like brings us closer. You put the effort to speak to me in Polish. I put the effort to speak to you in your language. It's like, oh, I like this person. He put an effort and just feels good for me. So, and have a very international friend group, and some of the languages is rusty, but whenever I can reconnect with them and speak their own language, I enjoy it. And of course I stress myself, I review German, I review Spanish,
Yeah.
and my vocabulary, but I enjoy it. But I am not sure if I am different person. I
Well,
think,
I think
but my friends of mine would have to say that, would have to answer that question.
okay.
I can only, I go ahead, but I have something interesting to say. But go ahead.
No, go ahead. Say it's Mike and wait. Let's
Okay.
see. Yeah.
I was Since I'm active on social media and I started to do
Yeah.
videos, some of the people told me, good friends, so special for me, told me, Karina, you always sad.
Ooh.
You always come off sad on these videos. And I'm like, I don't know. So I start to think about it. And last time I had a conversation with somebody about it was beginning of this year. And it really hit me. I was even crying, like, why are we saying so? We all have a different times in life, good and bad days. Number one, I don't enjoy social media as much as I enjoy podcasts, let's put it this way. And I'm also recording myself by myself. I feel like an idiot doing so,
Yeah.
for example. And also stressed to putting it out. So I'm like, maybe I'm just so nervous. But then I came to conclusion, but maybe exactly all of these things made me come up this way. And so I actually reviewed a couple of these videos, and I'm like, I see myself there. This is authentic me. Maybe not smiley because I am nervous. Maybe I didn't have a best day. So I actually recorded a short video 2 months ago saying that I don't know how you, but I like authentic people. So this is who I am. Maybe today when I'm recording this video, I'm not in my best mood, but I don't wanna fake it. I don't want, yeah, but I don't wanna fake it. I wanna be authentic. So, which is very important for me, authenticity. So I think doesn't matter what language I speak, I definitely want to be me. I want to be authentic. So if I'm in sad mood, you will see it.
Yeah.
If I'm very happy, you're gonna see it.
Are you excited now?
So, what?
Are you excited right now?
I am enjoying the conversation.
Okay.
You treasure to speak to.
Okay.
Really, I have a blast,
Okay.
and I like when you also very authentic host, and I enjoy it as well.
Thank you.
So I enjoy it as well.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Well, I don't see it right now, but maybe that's a different scenario because I'm surprised. I'm shocked. Because like you just how do I put it? I'm trying to look for the right word to use to describe it, but it's like you just how someone is like there's a word used for it in English when you're sweating, right? You're sweating, but in this case it's not sweat, you're sweating excitement, like you're sweating energy, you're sweating happiness. And so it's kind of hard for me to picture you in the other scenario.
And I know why. And I know why, because I enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I really think when it comes to social media and videos, it's something which comes hard to me because it's pre-staged, over here, it's
Yeah, it's a
just natural
performance.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, and I really enjoy doing that. So, and that's why, and also I know by now, but whatever you're doing and you love doing that, it brings you joy. The joy just shines out, Can be yoga. Like whenever I'm teaching, I'm so nervous each time I go in front of my students, but I am so happy to be in front of them. I'm so happy to go face my fear and so happy to just be me.
I do have one question, and that's for listeners, right? We're talking about your story. You've been sharing some of the things you did. For someone who's been listening and they feel like they're living someone else's life, who's pleasing everyone but themselves, and whose body might be starting to rebel, what's the first step? I mean, not the whole journey, but one small thing they can do this week to start becoming the creator of their own life.
Be mindful of what you think, especially be mindful of what you're telling yourself about yourself. Because the first thing I noticed, I was just beating myself up with words. Why did I do that? I'm a horrible mom, I'm a horrible friend, blah, blah. The negativity. So being mindful, and it's very hard, but I'm saying the first step, just notice your thoughts. What conversation do you have in your head?
Yeah.
And who you talk to, and how do you talk to the person? And I'm 99% sure that person would be yourself, and you're talking very bad to yourself about yourself. Also, another thing, once you notice that thought, because there are some people who are maybe nice to themselves, I don't know, but when I hear somebody talking negatively about others, not knowing the person, oh, he's stupid, he's an asshole, why did he say no, he shouldn't be thinking this way, and for me, it tells me also that person is not being nice to themselves as well. Looking at how they talk about others, interact with others. So thoughts, being mindful, noticing your thoughts. And once you notice that, you can start changing it. Slow. It's a very slow process for me till today. And I know it will be process for me till I die, but each day you may catch yourself to notice more thoughts, and you must start having this other internal conversation. No, I am a good person. No, I am a good man. No, what he said wasn't right. I am not that person. And this is how your life starts to change, and you start to change internally, and then also to the outside world.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you for that advice. Wow. Well, it's been a lovely conversation. It's been a delight listening to you share your story,
I agree.
and just me helping me
I
make
agree.
sense of the quotes at the beginning. Where can listeners learn more about the work you're doing and also your book?
Could you repeat? I got lost in my thoughts.
Are you doing what I'm doing? Is that what you're doing? Because I took some time to respond. Okay. Where can listeners learn more about the work you do and also connect with you?
Okay. The easiest way is to go to my website, which is www.kkbiernath, which is my pen name.com. And over there, it's link to the book, which I have a few different formats, also audiobook and beautiful hardcover copy, which I love. I am on 4 social medias, actually 5, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Spotify, YouTube. Over there, you also have my phone, my address. I love the old-fashioned letters. Please send me a letter. Would love to read it. Get back to you. And so everything is over there. And I am, for those locally, I try to host at least monthly events somewhere, libraries, stores, bookstores. I just had in winery, and I post them also on a social media, and I love those events. I love the conversation I have during the event, the meeting new people, just talking to people, and also being able to face my fear and do it anyway. And, also practice if the thoughts can make you sick, they can make you well. So I can go to the event. So
Yeah. Wow.
you're welcome to meet me online, or you're welcome to meet me also in person.
Yeah, I'll put the links in the description so listeners can just click and go directly to the site. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Karina. It's been a lovely, lovely conversation.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who loved the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatablewisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.